Brilliance, courtesy of our artist friends from the community. All you have to do, it's very simple, is lean in, chillax, and let your hearts embrace the limitless splendor of this magical evening. Can you dig it? Yeah, all righty then. Well, without any further ado, let's bring them out. Your founders, our friends, visionary artists, Allyson Grey and Allyson Grey.
Hardly even believe it. Can you? Come on. Hello. Hello, everybody here and everywhere. Welcome, as Alexa said so beautifully, to the CoSM Full Moon Ceremony. Well, we thank you all for joining us so much. It means so much to us and all the people that come in from all over the world. This is the best, you know. You know, tonight's program is the 257th in an unbroken chain of full moon ceremonies that began in January of 2003. And at the advice of a wise shaman, we held that first full moon ceremony in our Brooklyn loft with a few friends, the CoSM Initiating Prayer Committee, with the intention to pray for the personal aspirations of everyone in the room, everyone who attended, and to envision together the building of, guess what, the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, a visionary art sanctuary to serve a greater community. To honor this very unique moment together with you all here and out there, we consider the number 257, which represents this particular time and place in our shared journey. You can reflect on a personal symbolic meaning of number 257 by adding together the numbers 2 plus 5 plus 7, making number 14. And then you add that together and you get number 5. And 5 is the number of the human. And in fact, most mammals and many reptiles and amphibians who have 5 appendages, a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. 5 is said to mean that your spirit guide has a message for you. And in addition, it is said that the message refers to spiritual accomplishment, to divine wisdom and grace. 5 is related to the cyclical nature of spirituality. So you may be experiencing a return to your place, a place that you recall within your spiritual journey. You might be thinking of that tonight. Well, Alex, tell us something about the significance of celebrating the full moon at CoSM, and share a little something about tonight's theme, sacred geometry. Here comes the man.
Thank you. Thank you, Allyson. And so grateful to see everyone here tonight and to know that you're out there watching as well. Well, the full moon is a great time to meet with community. It's a perfect circle, and we each feel a kind of personal connection with the moon, I think, developed over our lifetime and just like watching it. And when we gaze at it, it really takes us out of our kind of small life, and we start to think of more cosmic things. It just like great art can kind of snap you out of, just all of your gyrations, the machine of the mind going. And so the moon is like one of the first kind of aesthetic objects, not of this earth. It's in the starry heavens, but we see it and we get a sense of our oneness, with this moon. There's some connection. It's a personal connection. And it's the shape as a circle of wholeness, of oneness. It's the most simple thing, but we see it reflected all around us. And when we look at the full moon, we see that it's a mirror reflecting the greater light of the sun, just as each of us is a sacred mirror reflecting the greater light of God. Now, sacred geometry is the study of mathematical principles and in both art and in nature. And that's where we really find it. And we contemplate the symbolic meaning of these shapes. So with the number 1, it's a circle or a sphere, and Plato declared the sphere to be the most perfect shape, and he called it the shape of the soul, because its center is equidistant to every point around it that defines it. And so it's really kind of miraculous. And it's a symbol of wholeness that's synonymous with spirit. They say God is a circle whose circumference is boundless and whose center is everywhere. So, the sun is round, all the planets go around the sun, in their circle, and we see it all with our eye, which is also round. And so this sense of the spherical nature of the soul, I think, is a natural one for us. I think of the sphere as a great way to imagine our oneness, because we think of the whole of the universe, which is just beyond our imagination. But we can think of it like the most huge sphere, the most that you could see out the farthest. That's really all the telescopes do. They see as far as they can. And really, it's kind of a circle drawn from there. So, but then you can think of the circle or sphere as the soul. So we see it reflected in nature. We see it reflected in our inner worlds. And, really, for us, in the Sacred Mirrors series, there's a piece called the Universal Mind Lattice. And it's basically a ball of light. And so for me, maybe that was this experience of the soul or something, you know, that because it was connected with every other being in the cosmos, it seemed, and we were all balls of light. The light was love. So that was really the fabric of everything, you know, the fabric of spirit. And I think that, you know, this kind of sense of the roundness of our soul is really why we give our beloveds a ring when we get married, you know? It's this sense of life being a kind of around, a cycle, you know, like birth, death, and rebirth, you know? So it's also, you know, why I think we respond to mandalas, you know, because they're center-focused or circular, and this immediately brings in a sense of our connectedness and oneness, and it makes them easy to identify. And if you know, ever like to draw, which I think probably a few people in here do, you know, working with sacred geometric tools and everything is really something that's incredibly fun. Now, I'll be showing some of the drawings I made earlier today to talk about this subject, but our friend Keith Critchlow was one of the world's great sacred geometers, and I was fascinated because he talked about, you know, the circle being the, you know, kind of the symbol of the spirit, you know, and then he talked about the square, you know, being the symbol of the material world. And so, you know, that makes things, it's very easy. You can definitely think of it, things like that. And then here's the solid, the world that's built and things like that. It makes a lot of sense. And then he said there's a third shape that symbolizes the mind. And that's like the triangle. So he said in architecture, you're going to find these shapes just repeating over and over again. If you put a kind of you know, an arch on a doorway, see, you know, you could make a doorway. Usually they're like this, you know, in the sense that there you go, but it keeps it very much in the material world, you know. But if you put a circle on it, then you're bringing the dome of heaven to earth, symbolically, you know, as you're going through it. So the archway has always worked like that. And if you put the influence then of a triangle into that sort of arch, then you've got kind of the Gothic arch. And so it's a symbol as much as a shape, you know, that shows the mind's influence on the spirit. So as we point upward. So it's, anyway, I thought that it was a really cool and very simple kind of thing, and you'll see it everywhere in architecture, you know. So, you know, see what you think the next time you walk into a domed, you know, kind of room or something like that. You know, how does that change from a flat ceiling and stuff? So, one of the principles of sacred geometry that Keith used to talk about was really how you reflect on the process of making the drawing. And we figured that it would take just way too long for me to be drawing all these things for you tonight, you know. But I did a few beforehand, so I'll try to go through this. It's very simple, and I love the simplicity of the ideas in sacred geometry because they just like mean a lot. Like the first, the empty blank canvas. You know, every artist has to confront that. You know, but in some way, there's some meaning to it. You know, it's like the emptiness before the beginning of everything, you know? And so there's got to be nothing in order for there to become something, you know? And so, and of course, I mean, physicists tell us, you know, it used to be 13.8 billion years ago, there was, you know, before the 13.9 billion years ago, there was nothing, you know, and now there's everything. I just heard a couple weeks ago the scientists updated that, and now it's 26.8 billion years ago. So the universe just got older, in case you didn't realize that. And that means that we've been doing this a really long time, you know, to get here, you know, 26 billion years. So, okay, but first, before 27 billion years ago, there was nothing, right? And so we can't explain it. God was bored with there being nothing, you know? So, so then, you know, the whole idea of the one, you know, there's a point, and then you spin that perfect circle around it. And we've talked about the meaning of this great circle of life, you know. But then number two, you put the two of them together, you spin it with a compass here, and then you just put the compass again on the edge of the circle and spin another circle, and what do you get? The vesica Piscis. It's the two-sided geometric shape. And of course, it's associated with the Divine Mother. And, but look, it's a leaf shape. We're surrounded by this shape everywhere in nature. And really, the leaf is the foundation of life. Because by some miracle, leaves learn to eat sunlight. And then we can eat the leaves. So we're harvesters of light through this kind of the Mother Nature who provides for us. And so one of the miracles of the vesica is that so many of the other shapes can be imagined as being birthed out of it. And so number three would, like the three-leaf clover, I guess, but you've got the pyramidal shape, you've got the shape of the mind. It's also the simplest kind of symbol for fire, you know, the upraised kind of triangle. So that's easy to get out of this. You got the two-sided sacred geometric shape. So you just go and that line connect the centers. And then you've got that central line, and then you just couple lines up there, and you've birthed a triangle. So then, if you want a square, you know, give it a circle in the center, and you've already created these bisecting lines. You can imagine that one very easily going up the center. And then you've got a square. Now, the square is something that you're going to see, you know, throughout the chapel, because my best friend here has been using it for years and years in her artwork. And like the paintings back there, the what she calls order, are made up in this kind of web, you know, that's like the squares inside of the squares. So the square root, you know. And and you'll also see it reflected in the doors of CoSM, and we've tried to pick up on it as a theme that's out on the fencing around CoSM and things like that. So, okay, I lost my place. Here we go. right. So then, how do you get a pentagram? How do you get a pentagon? It's so fascinating because here you've got the vesica, and so you add another circle here on the bottom that's spun from its center right in here. And so then you draw a line that's through this kind of center line here. You draw a line from here, one of those overlaps, all the way up to the top. And that gives you the angle, which is a perfect, 108 degrees. And so then you just, complete it. Now, it's so fun and so easy to draw out, and it's really kind of weirdly miraculous, that all of these shapes are embedded one inside of the other and can give birth to it in a way. Now, one of the cool things, did I? Oh, I'm looking for the golden ratio calipers. Oh, there they are. Now, these are so cool. This is the golden ratio calipers, and this is probably what Michelangelo and all of the classically trained artists would have in their studio, or they'd make one. So golden ratio, you've all heard of it, and many of you probably know all about that as well. But what's really fascinating is that the pentagram is precisely showing you the golden ratio. It's not only this kind of shape of humanity, as Allyson said, the two arms and legs and the head and things like that, and the 5 fingers on your hand and stuff like that. But this code of the golden ratio is all through the body, just everywhere, practically, it seems. And okay, so your fingers, for instance, the phalanges, each one of those is on this kind of proportion. And the proportion, they will say, here's the well, it's easy to see with the calipers. It's the greater over here and the lesser over here. So it's 1 to 1.618. That's the phi ratio. And so it just continues as a proportion. And we've seen it illustrated in the Fibonacci sequence, which is basically you've got the golden ratio in the golden rectangle here. See? It's using that proportion, then you can create a series of squares that subdivide like this and create a perfect spiral. So in the 5 is the Fibonacci sequence, and this, which is you see it in seashells, you see it in the spinning arms of the galaxies. It's really quite a shape. Okay. So then we have this kind of hexagon, which is really the seed of life, It's if you just continued growing these, then you'd have the flower of life. And so this is the kind of shape of the hive, It's the beehive, and it's such a perfect, close packing kind of shape that it's the, when you make it three-dimensional, it's the shape of crystals, close-packed lattices, like diamonds. So um, you know, there's a lot in nature that you see there reflected in the shapes that just, and you can continue drawing and find, you know, infinite kind of variety of shapes and things. But, you know, I like to talk about the CoSM symbol because we wove some sacred geometry into there as well. And so this really the eye of spirit, you know. The CoSM symbol isn't complete without Allyson's letters. But the eye of spirit inside there, you can see it's basically built on a hexagon, and that you have the kind of implied downward pointing triangle here, and then the upward pointing triangle here. Now, so the way that you get the eye is through a kind of putting your compass point on like this bottom center here and drawing it across, and then you put it on that invisible triangle here and draw it across, and then you've got the vesica, basically the shape, and then you can put the circle inside of it of the eye. Now, I think of this iris as kind of, this is the symbol of the self in the center of the world. You know, it's surrounded by the world, and then the cosmos sort of around that. That's why it's kind of red, the burning world, and then the blue cosmos surrounds it. And this center point, then in order to get this pupil, you have to draw an entire other eye in the triangle inside of here. So the pupil is the same basic proportion as the main iris. And I think of these as, well, of course, we've thought of ourselves already as a circle, so the sphere of the soul. So then its center is spirit, again, and you've got like body, mind, and soul, and then this is the spiritual nougat in the center. And so I think of the spirit as both the outside of the circle, you know, and the inside of the circle. And I love Meister Eckhart's great quote that he said, you will never be able to see God until you recognize that you're seeing through God's eye. Everybody's included, you know. I love that as a beautiful mystic point of view. So let's see. You know, I wonder whether anybody watched the UAP, UFO kind of things this past week in Congress. It was a very weird moment. And I don't know whether you checked out some of the testimony, but of course, flying saucers are round. You know, I mean, we've seen them for decades being round. Well, recently, of course, I've seen some pyramids, and they were testifying about all these shapes, you know, metallic balls, spheres that go around, like the Foo Fighters, you know. We've been hearing about these things for quite a while. But then you've got floating pyramids. I don't know whether you've seen any of those pictures, but they have found those. And just recently, the one that freaked me out at the testimony was a guy who's been seeing black cubes just floating, surrounded by a sphere. So, I mean, they know their sacred geometry, right? They do. So, yeah. So, in this kind of strange world that's filled with conflict and stuff, the principles of sacred geometry are something that have a way of uniting us, And another odd thing to say is, people who have journeyed on psychedelics quite often have remarked on seeing grids and webs and things like that. I mean, this room is filled with that art, And so I think there's something deep in us that we can see reflected in the symbolism that we see in the artists that are trying to bring these shapes into the world. And I'm just really grateful to have your attention tonight and to consider these things, a way to think very physically, in a way, about reminders of how we're all connected. So, lots of love to everybody.
Well, we have a few other presenters tonight. One extremely special presenter is coming up next. Somebody we have known for decades, 25 years, this month. And this fellow is not just, one of the most incredible rap poets that I have ever heard, but he also is my dear friend who introduced me to raw food. So he's a brilliant nutritionist and a brilliant community leader, and we invite to the stage our very dear friend, Fun Young Moon.
Wow. Is this thing on? Love you guys. Little gift for you, some Moonlight chocolate. Yours is waiting in the Mushroom Cafe. Get over there while supplies last. Wow. This is literally a dream come true. Can remember many times walking through here in the tours when it was, let's say, rustic. And I would visualize being right here, right now. And it truly feels like being home. And I'm so grateful to see some old friends here, some new friends. I encourage you all to make a new friend tonight. I've made some of my best friends ever at CoSM on the planet, hands down. And everyone here is cool. You can just tell. You all have great taste in music, art, all that. Just because you're here, goes without saying. So let's get into this. This first piece is inspired by a lot of my favorite art in this room. Probably Love Gun to My Head, my all-time favorite, is Theologue on this wall right back here. Just is. I've spent a lot of time meditating right in front of that at CoSM when we were in New York City. Oversoul has particular huge significance to me. And as Alex pointed out to me once, the moon is the throat chakra. I tried to use it as my driver's license photo, but they wouldn't let me do it. True story. They weren't having it. Cosmic Christ, of course. And there's something relevant about these pieces and this first piece that I'm going to do called Moonlights, because in all of these, obviously Alex is in them, but there's also something that speaks to all of us in them, and that's why they resonate with so many people on a very, very deep level. And I kind of say that as a disclaimer about this first one, because it sounds like braggadocio, which it is, and a very me kind of poem. But it's really coming from, it's dedicated to all artists, of which I am in a room full of right now, and from that place of aspiring to the higher self. And I hope you like it. It's called Moonlights. One more time. How many people are here for the first time? Awesome. This is for you. Just a visitor, long-time listener, first-time caller, old-time practitioner, first-time up, come hither to the fair. Let us prepare what is rare so we can find ourselves there. I must lose myself in action lest I wither in despair. Resting monk face, fresh out the punk phase. Troubadour with something new to explore, not new to war, now return to human form, and true to form said, yo, screw the war, through the door. To show them what the groove is for. Hold office hours 2 to 4, compose a brand new movie score, bring food and more to the poor. Same vow the Buddha swore, known to feel at home in a blue decor and show the hometown who they're rooting for. Yo, this son will make a fine king. If he has a divine thought, he shall get a divine thing. One-man band, rebranded from a bandit, was told to be candid. It's what they demanded. We'll start out easy. You hold the lantern, I'll hold your hand to it, which may be taken as a little bold, granted. But make no mistake, this is the gold standard. It's time to show them where Atlantis landed, get their minds expanded. That's what your man did. A post-punk postman who don't post much, still getting his sea legs, but don't need a crutch, still hands-on, but slightly out of touch, still hardcore. Pacifist, still art of war. Then move to the center, show the party what the party's for. Trailblazer in a pale blazer, wild kale grazer, comet tail gazer. Preferred method to get out of jail, laser, surgery, third eye corrective vision, will not commit perjury. Truth sayer, soothsayer, how a true player became the new mayor. Part translator, part commentator, part investigator, part and parcel particle part and parcel accelerator. This is the part we part waves beyond beta, alpha, delta, theta, Cape Crusader to search and analyze the best data. Later. I'm not a player, I'm not even a gamer, I don't play, I left the game a Hall of Famer, dead ringer, I don't point the finger, I'm not a blamer, no lion, when I leave the ring, the lion shall be tamer, no judge, still you can meet me in my chambers, truth proclaimer, / entertainer on retainer, full disclaimer, cannot be contained in a container, ask my trainer thought's a no-brainer. Yo, I'm going to the center to watch the candles burn, but when I get back, I shall return. This shaman was a bit of a showman. I'm more of a shy man, but what do I know, man? I didn't come here to get you to like me. I feel obliged to show you how nice you can make a mic be, giving them a taste of my soul and a view from my psyche. See if they can do it as tightly, though it's highly unlikely. This is a door, not adornment. I'm not a porter, but this is important. I make a point of being poignant, superfly in the ointment. So far ahead of my time, I'm only 5 minutes late for my appointment. A lover, not a fighter, not a hater. I'm the narrator, also the navigator. Cannot be overstated. The truth cannot be debated. Free will. I don't take orders. I'm not a waiter. But let me get you some water. I've been known to cater to the greater. Got it? Good. I'll tell you more later. But only you can decide if the equator was created by the creator. It was. I reject Satan and all his works, even the early works when his backup band was just berserk. With no backup plan, I bring my plan to the town clerk. Yo, wipe that smirk, man. It worked for Captain Kirk. And Spock, known to rock, release the rocket, lightheaded, turning towards the sun, heliotropic. It's where your moon gets its light while on the topic. Morning prayers, you were born aware, but hold still, there's a thorn in there. Let's take it out slow, apply some ointment. And I was given this role by appointment. And you can book a session by appointment. Out of the woods came a man from wherein a boy went for education, fun, and also pure enjoyment. And CoSM, there's still work in this field if you need employment. Why, thank you. Well, I'd be lying if I said that didn't feel awesome, so thank you very much. That was enough about me. How do you like my dress? So this other piece I'm going to share with you tonight, if I haven't overstayed my welcome, when they told me tonight's theme is sacred geometry, I was like, oh, I got to do this one, I got to do this one. And then I keep my notes of like what I've done so I can see when things first were given birth to. And I was like, oh my God, I did this one the last time that we were all together at a full moon gathering. But then I was like, Yeah, but that was almost 4 years ago. And how many are you here for the first time? We already know. We already know. So this is most likely the first time you've ever heard this. And when I think of doing this in this room with this community, in a place that this is really, and it's an answer to a prayer, and it's the truth that happens when you stick with your vision and when you hold a collective vision that's bigger than just yourself. People gravitate towards that together. So whatever thing you're working on in your life, whatever your prayer is, and if that doesn't work for you, whatever you're activating in your life, I hold that prayer for you. I obviously like that word, with this piece. And may that all work out for you beautifully, that or something better. This piece is called Bandwidth. One stands before the fire, that the heart would not grow weak. What wonder and amazement when the flames began to speak. They told him to paint the picture in parables and metaphor, and to really only tell you about the things you're ready for. You ready? You can get the message via email or snail mail. Maybe we try prayer mail. If you don't plan to win, be prepared to fail. On the return trip to heaven from the bottom of the stairwell, our lives are running parallel. I hope you fare well till it's time to say farewell. Try to have a good time of it. You know, life is a carousel. Our art connects with the hard facts where the architects left their artifacts, knowledge of our future selves long since past. We weren't the first ones here, certainly won't be the last. This was in the book, but they took a lot of it out of the book. Some of it's still in there, you gotta know where to look. Been working a double shift to get him out of disgruntled mode. A front of house server from the back of my frontal lobe. Yeah, well, the dude abides to do a lotta, and I'll do it if I gotta, to polish up the jewel from my medulla oblongata to the left brain, rights from here to White Plains. Mostly cleaned up, still got some light stains. Out, damn spot. I need this space for the sacred, bright and hot. Songs of devotion, songs of surrender. I'm not the inventor, just the presenter. Remember, you'll meet your exes at the exit as you enter. First shall be last, the last shall be first. I remain in the center. The middle path is very straightforward. It just sounds like a riddle. It's like that prairie home companion, but without all the fiddles, and there it is. A rare gift to share the narrative. I learned from my mentors, you gotta be observative to explain the moral imperative to a fiscal conservative. Take a risk with the words, but know where the curve it is. Know the right words to give, so in a better world we live. I flourish in these services, impervious to nervousness. Admittedly, this style's a bit derivative of whirling dervishes spin. Songs of innocence, songs of experience, songs that after the clear, songs of clearance after the dreary interferences. Okay, it's kind of like a big box store in that you leave with more than you came in for. Not to start in the first place is the only way to win war. Truth speaking, since I've been 4, or at least 24. Try and help folks out, like what you should use money for. It's good for the heart chakra, rose quartz. I rose, of course, and plotted a course back to the source. Remember what it's like there. Remember the colors. Remember what it feels like. Remember the others. Some get it auditory, some are visual, some get the full picture, some just residual. Some got rhythm but lack the vision. Some got the vision but lack precision. They need more fusion and less television. They need more conviction and also more friction to bring the heat, conscious diction with no contradiction to a degree of postgraduate creative nonfiction. And that's my prediction, and this is where it kicks in. I said, you're my family and I adore you. If I could, I'd walk the path for you, but on our own 2 feet, that's the only way. You know, we all got our own phone bill to pay. But I'm not gonna leave you out there all alone, okay? I'll show you how I get home. I got this poem to pray. It goes mystic, linguistic, invocation, 4 directions, bandwidth, straight back to the original source connection. When you stand before the Master of Kings, offer to give twice as much as you be asking for things. Songs of deliverance, songs of transcendence, songs that connect our ancestors to our descendants. Outside, they're spinning fire. Inside, I'm beginning to rewire my desires. Yo, here to spit with nothing but sheer wit. Ever since I crashed my ship into the pyramid, I act casual, but it's actually not salvageable. I like sacred geometry, but I flunk sacred algebra. It's true. Similar schematics, same exactitude. Folks line up to look at art, this art looks back at you. Light waves refract, it's not an act, it's an active mood. The strange attractor's fractal taps into our aptitude. Exactly, dude, but keep it simple. The course of the soul is kind and gentle, and it comes with full benefits, medical, transcendental. We threw in, I love that you love that one. We threw in everything but the kitchen sink. Turns out the kitchen sink was the missing link. When I run out of ink, it's when I go to see my shrink. I'll send you the link. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. When I was young, they told me to hold my tongue. I held it so long, it taught me how to write a song. It brought me along and taught me right from wrong. And hold my tongue, man, you're stifling my abilities. I was about to say something astounding. The suspense is just killing me. Yeah, he's a good student, but he's not the professor. An earth to the water, to the fire, an air compressor. Or let me speak with God obsessor, songbird confessor. Just an old school word perfect word processor. Yes, sir. The wizard had conceptions, potions, and concoctions, and connections, and surprisingly, a lot of vegetarian options. The heart of a Taurus, where strange dreams did occur, and the part of the Emerald Forest was played by Forrest Whitaker in a play where my competitor tried to copy my copy editor. So I go get it, sir. I prefer to reach for the Father's hand, and the Oscar goes to Moonlight after the mix-up with La La Land. Wake up, New York, or you'll wind up in La La Land. On the one hand, you want to build the brand. On the other, you know, man, castles made of sand fall in the sea eventually. Songs of the elders, songs of the first race, songs that remind you why you came here in the first place. Well, I don't like the conversation to end abruptly. If it was up to me, we'd sit and have a cup of tea. But CoSM, let me never leave you with this. May your prayers be answered and your dreams come true, especially the dream is dreaming of. Thank you.
Let's see. I do believe that the next person that we're going to invite to the stage is a very good friend of ours who came all the way from the left coast, the other coast. And we're just so honored to have her here to talk a little bit about her work in the light of sacred geometry, but really in the light of Jen Stark. Let's invite her up here. Give her a warm welcome.
Woo. All right. Thank you guys so much for having me at CoSM. This is my second time, and I'm having a blast. Last time I was here was 5 years ago, and this was in construction. It was just a dream, so it's really awesome to see it come together and everybody's here. It's amazing. So I guess I'll talk about my work a bit. I'm Jen Stark. I began working as a professional artist like 16 years ago. Born in Miami, Florida. My grandfather was a hobby artist, so he would do like watercolor paintings of birds and sailboats and kind of Miami scenes. He was also a photographer and a reporter for the Miami Herald, which was pretty fun. So he would kind of bring like the artistic spark out of me. He would invite me over to, do arts and crafts with him and watercolors. So that's kind of where I got my artistic spark from, I think. And then just growing up in Miami, I think I was really inspired by just nature, sacred geometry, ferns just growing and kind of that fractal design. Here we go, we got some visuals. So early on, I was inspired definitely by evolution, and my sister was also going to med school studying, she had to cut a lot of dead bodies, and she would bring home anatomy books, and I would just flip through them in college and kind of see all the dissection photos and pretty grotesque, but also really beautiful stuff. So that weirdly inspired me too, her just like medical anatomy books. And also just, I love the beauty of like topographical maps and the history with it. And yeah, so early on I kind of started doing these shapes, thinking about like the outside shape as the first generation, and that kind of affects the next generation, and then the next and the next, until like you have this whole like history through a sculpture. So just like an abstract version of evolution. And then early on, I was more known for my like paper sculptures. So these I would hand cut with an X-Acto knife. I would just sit down at my desk and cut, trace, just, it was kind of crazy. But a lot of fun, because I kind of started doing the paper sculpture work when I studied abroad in France. I was, if anybody here is, thinking about going to college, or your kids, I highly recommend studying abroad, because it really just like opened up my eyes to, a new culture. I didn't speak French at all, so I had a lot of learning experience through that. But yeah, I decided to go to the art store in France, and I picked up the cheapest art supplies that I could find, because I was, a student on a budget. So I found a Euro stack of construction paper and just started cutting it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this back to the studio and just see what I can do with it, and see how I can transform such like a basic everyday material. So that was the start of the paper sculptures. And then I started getting in a little bit more into like painting murals. I painted my first mural on at a hotel on South Beach. It was a small one. And then it sort of evolved to this one is a large scale one in downtown Los Angeles. It's like 200 feet long by 30 feet high. And I love, taking the artwork out of the gallery space. So throughout my career, I've done the gallery shows, done the art world thing, and it's important to be part of that. But for me, it's more impactful to have like your work out in public, where people that may not walk into a gallery, they can see it, or people that may not ever go to a museum, they just drive down the street and there's artwork there for them to look at. So yeah, I started being really interested in like that sort of space, public work, more like interactive experiential work. And I also started experimenting with custom LEDs for it, or custom circuit boards. And yeah, I love having the viewer be like more immersed in the art, rather than, like you walk up to it and it almost feels like a meditation, or yeah. And you can go to the next one. So I started getting really into just like looking at something on a wall very immersive. So yeah, and I teamed up with Cut Mod with this. So they're in California, and they're awesome. They're just like technical geniuses with all the interactive stuff. So we concepted it over like a few months and just knocked it out. And you can head to the next slide. Interactive, but it's kind of, it immerses you, and it's very meditative. And the challenging thing with this whole show, you can keep flipping through them, was interactive thing. So this is called Strobe Wall, and you walk up to the wall, and it's a white wall with a projection on it. And once your fingers go through that force field, colors change, the shapes change, and this was inspired by that movie Big, where you like step on the piano like that. So just like, a little tidbit of inspiration from that. But yeah, this whole show was a crazy feat, and you can go to the next one. But so it was called Cascade Show, and we're hoping to bring it to LA sometime next year. I would say like by summer or so. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was in New York. So this was in summer. The year that NFTs were popping off, so we were all immersed in that as well. It was a crazy year, having that whole world and then planning this whole show. But yeah.
It was super gorgeous.
Oh, all good. I'll just talk through it. So this show was 6 rooms, and it was a really awesome, just like mind-bending experience. And I hope to do a lot more stuff that's like interactive and immersive and kind of inspired by, geometry and interaction and I'm just so thankful that you guys brought me up to show my work, and I love you guys.
Well, Jen will be around tonight. You can ask her questions, and she's an outstanding artist, one of the artists in the All One Gallery, as you can remember if been through the show. A couple of Jen's pieces, and we've been following her work for a long time, since the paper pieces and shows that you were having. All of your work has always been so inspiring. We did get to see this wonderful installation, the interactive installation that Josh Liner sponsored, and it was just wonderful. So thanks so much for coming. I'm so glad. Thank all your friends for coming too. Well, our next guest who's going to come to the stage is a really wonderful saxophone player that we had the pleasure to meet, Jeff Schiller, and he's going to come on the stage. We're going to do a little set change, but while we do set change, let me ask you to do this one thing for me. Everybody turn around, look at the cameras, and wave to the people that are down in the remote room and also in the world. Say hi. We love you too. Now listen, here's the second thing I want you to do while we're doing our set change. Everybody look around. See if you see anybody that you never talked to before. Anybody around you in 360 degrees, and meet them and tell them something about yourself and listen to. As one. As one. As one. As one. As one. As one. Here we are. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you got to know somebody you never knew before, and do that some more tonight. But right now, we are very excited to invite to the stage a very good friend of ours who we heard playing in New York, a month ago or something. And we made instant friends, and you just agreed to come. So we're so delighted to have you, Jeff Schiller. Come on up.
I'm very honored to be here. I know some of you go way back with them, and they're very new friends for me, but like Allyson said, it was just sort of an instant connection at The Gratitude Revealed. I don't know if you know that movie by Louis Schwartzberg, who also did Fantastic Fungi, but it is an amazing film, and they're featured in it. And after they showed, it was a live screening in New York, and of course I went, and there was a DJ afterwards, started playing. I had a saxophone with me. I'm telling Allyson, she said, "Are you working?" And I'm like, "Well, freelance musicians, we do all kinds of gigs." And I had just come from playing at a synagogue for Shabbos services, and I had a saxophone with me, and the DJ, and I also do weddings where they have, it's a thing now, DJs and a live saxophone player. Go figure, but that's, so I asked the DJ, "Can I get up and play?" And he was fine with that, and I played, and Allyson said, "Well, you have to come play at a full moon ceremony." And I'm like, "What's that?" So this is a really unique experience for me, to me. I've never done a gig like this before, and I've done a lot of kinds of gigs. So. And I'm very thankful and honored that you invited me to come up. I had no idea what to do or what to prepare. So I said, full moon, okay, well, there's a lot of songs. The moon has inspired a lot of songs. And I just picked 6. And it's just like going to be a little moon medley.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much, Jeff Schiller. Everybody, let's give him one more round of applause. Come on. Woo! That was awesome. You know, that was amazing. I just want you to know before I'm going to do a poem about sacred geometry in a minute. But before I do, I just want you to know that if any of you want to know, like, how do you get to do this? How do you get to be on stage and make a contribution to the full moon? I want you to know how that happens. You have to audition. You basically have to send us an audition tape. If you're professional enough and you think you have something that you could contribute in, they're very short pieces. We call the full moon's spiritual variety show. It's kind of, we like to have a variety. We like to have music and talking and poetry and even dance and performance. We've had all kinds of people do short pieces for the full moon. And if you think that you have a piece that's appropriate for the spiritual variety show at CoSM, and it has to be, like I say, all those things fitting properly and being professional, you would be able to make yourself a self-tape. And that's what you have to do when you're auditioning. You have to make yourself a self-tape. So you have to send it. And if you want to know who to send it to, you can send it to me. But you can also send it to our program coordinator, Brian Zickafus. Brian, are you here? Brian is over here watching over everything. So you can always send it to Brian Z at CoSM.org, or program. Oh, send it to program at CoSM.org. That's easier to remember. Okay, program. So anyway, it gives it to everybody who's on the program committee, and we all make those decisions together. So thank you so much, though. That was so perfect to meet you, Jeff. I was so glad I did. And did you know that the Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style one day, I was waiting, guess what river that's about? The Hudson River. Some people know that because it comes from what movie? Breakfast at Tiffany's. Thank you, Josie. Yes, it does. It's actually about the New York, crossing you in style one day. Well, anyway, enough of that. The moon is such an important celebration, and that was so beautiful. Well, I'm gonna do, like I said, a poem called Sacred Geometry. Here we go. Since ancient times, mystics and sages and spiritual teachers all through the ages have applied sacred meaning to solids and shapes, interpreting these symbols sorted humans from apes. The mathematics of form holds secrets of nature. Sacred geometry derived unique nomenclature. Angles are isosceles, equilateral, and acute. Height times width times length, a cube root. Flower of life, Merkaba, rhombus, and cone are all names that live in the geometry zone. But sacred geometry ascribes godly intention. Proportions and shapes imply divine intervention. A universal mind with structured association to elegant designs within nature's foundation. All things in creation with which we interact have measurable truths we count on as fact. The world of geometry underlies life's secret force. Numbers at the core embody the almighty source. Sacred geometry exists where all meanings lie, in molecules and galaxies of the vast open sky, dimensions through the universe, creatures at sea. Numbers are a secret language vibrating with unity. 5 platonic solids correspond to Earth's elements, building blocks of all organic material developments. The tetrahedron is a symbol of balance and stability, representing the fire element and spiritual virility. A solid of just 3 planes, related chakra, the solar plexus, icon of flame and ascension, and earthly to heavenly nexus. The hexahedron is a cube, a symbol of grounding concentration. This six-sided figure connected to earth is a human creation. Symbol of stability and permanence, root chakra, perfected soul. The architectural purity of the cube symbolizes humanity as a whole. An octahedron, a self-reflected shape, represents the element of air, linked to the heart chakra, the center of compassion, love, and prayer. To the spiritual nature of the self, the octahedron is aligned. The garnet is a gem structure that the octahedron is assigned. The icosahedron is a solid comprised of shapes with 5 sides associated with the sacral chakra and the element of water and tides. To go with the flow, an effortless stream of fluid creative expression, remove the blockages that hold us back and pathways toward digression. The sphere, the most perfect form, is the simplest. It's one-sided, expressing unity, completeness, integrity. The sphere is undivided. The most profound and sacred symbol, a pure and natural example. In microscopes, plant life, telescopes, instances of spheres are ample. The flower of life is a magical ancient symbol of vital force, sign of the lifeblood called chi that flows through us all, of course. Comprised of evenly overlapped circles with 6-fold symmetry. The perfect infinite pattern is the sacred bloom of geometry. When 2 star tetrahedrons converge, the Merkaba is the result, linked to Metatron, archangel, geomystery of the eternal occult. Mer is light, Ka is spirit, and Ba is for body, you know. One shape points heavenward, the other toward the earth below. The golden mean, or phi ratio, is a mathematical law of infinity, since every identical related part can subdivide for eternity. Birthing the Fibonacci spiral, a symbol of perfection in motion, lesser is to the larger as large is to the whole, a symbol of devotion. Noticing patterns around us, we wonder of some hidden significance. Witnessing the beauty of our world, we marvel at the sacred magnificence. All of nature is geometric, engaging with source of the mind. Interconnection among all things joins creator with humankind. Now let's see, what are we doing next? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is a very important part of every full moon that we do, and that is called Blessings and Declarations. And in Blessings and Declarations, it's time for you all to think, not everybody's going to get a chance, but a few people that have a blessing. And a blessing, you know what a blessing is. We all know pretty much what a blessing is. Give a blessing. Or a declaration. And as a declaration, what we think of as a declaration is like, I declare that I will, something that you want to declare in front of your community empowers that declaration, and we all hold your feet to the fire, and you'll never hear the end of it. You tell people you're going to build a temple, you know, you go all over the world, and you tell people you're going to build a temple, you don't go anywhere, and they don't say, how's that temple? How's that temple coming? So we're working on that. So we've been working on that for a long time. So I'm just warning you, but I'm also encouraging you to declare before your community whatever it is. You know, you want to give up something, you want to get something, declare that, and also make blessings. Blessings are blessed. Yeah. There's grace in it. Okay, so who wants to be first? Oh, look at that. So quick. Okay, grab a mic. We have a mic for you coming at you. Stay right there. No, stay right there.
Hi. I see you all.
So we have 1
And all of
minute
you
for a
too.
blessing or a declaration. 1 minute.
Okay, so my dear friend Rob, who got to hug you at Burning Man, jumped into spirit in September. And I have some of his dreadies in here, and I'm gonna give them to like a tree or maybe some birds who wanna make their nests. And his whole thing was always about reminding us that it's all only love. Always love, only love, all the time, yeah. So I'm sending that to each of you through him right now.
And what's your name?
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, thank you, Sarah, for giving us the blessing from Rob to us all. Thank you. Thanks for being first, too. Okay, who else has a blessing or a
next?
declaration?
Put your hands up. Who wants to? Don't be shy. This guy. I see him right here.
There's a hand. There we go. Oh, yes.
Hi, I'm Pete.
Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Pete. So hard not to follow it up with and I'm an alcoholic and so hard not to follow it up with and I'm an alcoholic. Anyway, combination blessing and benediction, because I noticed at least one other person in the chat online is also in recovery, and I did this when I was here when you reopened in, I was about to say June, but it's further back than that. Anyway, whenever it was, and whatever that date was, it's now been 176 days without a drink, 200 something without a drug, and I have a benediction to continue on that path to stay sober and in recovery and to continue to help other people to do so, and a blessing for everyone that they stay safe and sane if they are imbibing of whatever substances, sacred or otherwise, help them in their art and journey in this life, and of course to stay sober and healthy and continuing to grow happy, joyous, and free for all of us who are in recovery and can no longer enjoy the substances that we are still inspired by our prior experiences with. So namaste and God bless and thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Who else has a blessing or a declaration? Yes.
Hi, I'm Lisa Thunderbird, and I came here to shine my healing love light in this sacred space and to absorb and bask in the glow of everyone here in the community and just the energy that's here in this space and all of you and your art. All of your art is so inspiring, and it's just a blessing to be here. So blessings to all.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, I think we have a blessing or a declaration over there.
In the stripes? We'll start with you.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. Here we go. Come on down. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. It's so awesome to be here. Oh my God, what a blessing. Have a full moon. But my declaration, I guess, is to celebrate life every day. Wake up, be happy. It's been a dark couple of years. So to come here and feel open. So that's my declaration, and to find love and to give love. So that's what I'm going to do.
Introduce yourself. Wait.
I'm Elizabeth. Okay.
What? Say it again. I didn't hear that.
Feliz cumpleaños, Elizabeth. Should we go right next to you? Here we go.
Introduce yourself first.
My name is Killam, like Killam of Kindness. As a yoga teacher, I'm going to use some Sanskrit mantras to help me out. My blessing is Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Peace, love, and harmony to all living beings. And my declaration is to embody Ganesh, to do everything that I can using my life force to remove obstacles for others. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Thank you so much for this container.
Thank you, Killam.
Beautiful. Yeah, choose one back there, and then we got one up front here.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth of Lore, and right now in Brooklyn I am playing Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream. So I want to channel some puck energy and offer you some fey blessings. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Puck. We have Rosie.
Rosie, put your hands together for Rosie.
I just want to say, wait a minute, Rosie. Rosie was at the first full moon ceremony. Okay, we give her special applause.
Thank you. Yeah, So, at the opening ceremony, I got up and told everybody that I had a fire in my garage and that all my sand from the sand mandalas that I've been doing monthly with the intention of building Entheon, that it should come to fruition. Well, I had said that all that stuff was burned in the fire, and all the sand was burned. It was in plastic bags, so it kind of everything melted together in a big smelly lump. But by some miracle, my daughter was selling some old DVDs, and I went in the basement to look for them, and I said, in the corner of the very corner of my basement was the sandbox that had the thumbs up Buddha and the little tincture and the little sacred tool and the cloth. I said, oh my God, we have those parts. You know, we don't have the sand, which is easy to buy, but we have that. So I guess I'm holding the intention that now we will, at some point when it's ready and we have the right place, create sand mandalas again with the intention of building the chapel in the field.
Well, also putting the faces on Entheon. We still have
Putting
to work on the
face
countenance.
So
you know?
maybe we'll be doing the community sand mandalas again soon. So I just want,
Absolutely.
yeah. And also, I want a little a blessing that I usually give a blessing to, like I'm always blessing the earth and the animals, and you know our world leaders. But I'm going to ask a blessing for myself today, which is really unusual. But I screwed up my hip, and I'm always holding it that the intention of my hip is healing. But I did go to an orthopedic surgeon, and he said, "Oh, you need a hip replacement." And I didn't really want to hear it, and I still don't want to hear it. So I'm just asking if everybody will just hold the intention that, you know, I could maybe heal this without doing something as, well, that the right decision be made. Let's put it that way, for perfect healing. Yes. Well, thank you.
Right on, Rosie. You're going to love it. You're going to love that hip replacement, I'm telling you. Everybody I know that's had one, very happy, yeah. She's my sister from another mister. I can't wait. Seriously. Anyway, Alex, you see anybody out there?
Anyone?
Oh,
Here we go. Our friend back there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan, and I'd like to just wish you all my blessing for love and interconnection and interdependence, which is a thing that I'm working on, and I've learned from a lot of you here. I'm so grateful for your inspiration, for the art that you shared with everyone, that now I'm starting to make some of my own art. And so my declaration is that I'm going to continue making art and continue sharing it with other people. And it's just part of this spirit of creation that we're all interconnected and interdependent and intertwined with, and building on great things. It's awesome and wonderful, and I couldn't be happier. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have a call right here.
One or two more. I'm hearing from our team. Oh, over here. I'm coming for you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Joe.
Hi, Joe.
My prayer for everyone is my love and gratitude, and I ask for love to enter in each and everyone's life in the ways that they need most for their soul's highest good and the highest good of all concerned.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, we got time for one
Thank
more.
Let me just interrupt here and say that, you know, we have some. Do we have some people writing in, Katie, or do we want to take one more? Let's take somebody from Katie.
from
Katie's
beyond.
been seeing a lot of blessings declarations coming in from the world.
Hi, friends.
This is
Thank
Katie,
you for
everybody.
sharing your beautiful blessings and declarations. Okay, we have, well, on brand with that, I want to say blessings to the AV team. So for producing both live stream and in person simultaneously. And here we have, let's see. We have Caroline K. from Denver, and she declares that I will continue to follow my devotion to being a creator and a collaborator.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Caroline.
And one more, we have Desta from Ohio. She says, bless those whom suffer from any illness, disease, as we shall and will overcome it. Amen.
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 Yashikoa.
Beautiful.
Aho. Any burning, if there's any burning, we have one more.
One more.
Burning. It's got to be a burning.
Are you?
All right.
All right, that's
all good?
fine.
We're all good? Okay, good. Oh, there's a burning.
Oh, yeah, nice.
One more burning. This is the burning one.
Hey, so what's really burning in me is just a deep gratitude for this space and how much that is just vibrating into just a reminder of what's existing within us. And so I just want to give such deep gratitude to Yatu and to the space and to the spirit of the space. Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to continue to see more of ourselves. And thank you to everyone for allowing us to see each other through this space. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Beautiful. Thank you. Wasn't that a beautiful closing?
Loved it.
Of
Thank
the
you.
blessings and declarations. Well, now we have our next part of the program, which is a regular part of the program. And tonight we may be thinking of loved ones, maybe even ourselves, who might be suffering distress in body or mind. Every CoSM full moon, we take a few moments to turn inside and hold in our heart those who might benefit from a healing prayer. To strengthen this blessing, recall the name of your loved one as we pray.
Great Spirit, thank you for blessing us with this day and for our precious body and soul. We feel the light of Spirit shining in our hearts, and as we breathe, a glow expands to surround us like a luminous sphere.
The brightness in our hearts magnifies as we join together in a gleaming web with countless others around the world, a luminous net of beings. From the superabundance of our combined energy field, we envision rays of healing light surrounding and protecting us, our friends and family.
May the light shine on all who need healing. May Spirit renew each soul with creative power to rebuild stronger and weave peace and harmony across the earth. May the water, air, fire, and earth be purified and the web of life be strong and resilient.
Amen.
Well, some who are with us tonight may be grieving the loss of a family member or friend. We send our deep condolences to all who are in mourning, and we acknowledge the sacred space of sorrow and compassion that we carry for all who are suffering on the planet. Remembering the brevity of life, we appreciate the beauty of every precious day.
Almighty Spirit, we remember the souls of beloved ones who have passed on. Cherishing them in our heart, they remain close. To evoke their memory, recall their names as we reflect together for a moment in silent prayer, sending a wave of love from our being to theirs. May their memory be a blessing. Okay, so now we're going to invite to the stage our full moon anchor. Here she comes, Alexis Spatty.
What up? I'm
For
gonna borrow this,
for the
that's
future
okay.
news? This is Alexis.
I need my
future news.
handy dandy music stand for my handy dandy notebook of notes. How are we doing? Can we just let us all just take like a collective breath together, okay? Let's breathe in. Alrighty then. So grateful to have everybody here. We are just really excited to be open again, and this is our third time doing a full moon ceremony in Entheon. So thank you so much for being with us during this new era of CoSM, this milestone moment. We are really excited to keep it going, keep it flying, keep it soaring. We have a lot of cool stuff in the works. We do full moons every month, but we also do Art Church every month. And for those of you who are not familiar with Art Church, it's something that you can do online and or on Zoom, and it is a free event for CoSM members. And why do we love Art Church so much? What do we do?
There's
Our
so
favorite. We
yeah,
love it.
because you're making art together, and it creates an energy field. I think there's, when you're working together on something, there's like interconnection. I think you're working with a posse of angels, and they just get all together and they say, oh, what do you got? Oh, what do you got? And it's like, it's just like some kind of spiritual exchange is going on that's
totally
energizing.
I just wanted to say it's super special if you can be with us for the new moon and bring, just simple art supplies. I personally, and Alex too, have a special, and Alexa too, have a special Art Church series. We do just works that are just, take about 45 minutes, and we bring, colored pencils, pens. I bring a little watercolors, and we work on our lap. We may end up working on tables one day, but right now we're working on our lap, and we have music. We have music to a theme.
Oh, they
And it's
make
wonderful.
the coolest playlist. I mean, from pop to rock to blues to reggae to
classical, everything. Everything goes. So, but we keep it to our various themes, and it's just wonderful. We talk about the art and we talk about the theme after we have our art channeling meditation. So it's really fun. But if you can't make it here, I just want to tell you guys who can't make it for the Art Church, can't make it to the, you can do it online. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it from your own studio where all your supplies are right around you already. It's nice and comfy. So join us whatever way, and we want to see you at the Art Church.
Yeah. Again, it's a free event for CoSM members, and it's an opportunity to participate as a future member, because that's what we call you. And afterwards, you get to share your art a little bit. You can hop on to our CoSM Members Circle, which is our online platform powered by Mighty Networks, which is a place for virtual interaction. So if you're interested about membership, you can sign up in the shop downstairs, or you can learn more at members.cosm.org. Starting in September, we're actually going to bring Art Church back into the full moon weekend arc. So it will always be the Sunday after full moons. We figured, you guys come out here, you make a pilgrimage. We used to do this pre-2020. So we're going to do Art Church again in the afternoon from 3 to 6-ish, starting in September. The last one that we're going to do around the new moon is August 17th. In the library. We do it in the library. It's classy in there. We like it. You get the back jacks. It's very chill. So please join us for that if you're interested in it. You can check out our calendar at cosm.org/events for all events coming up through 2023. We are having our Visionary Painting Intensive next week. Thank you to all who applied and who all that got accepted. Some of our 2020 acceptees never got the chance to do the painting intensive, and now we're bringing it back with our fully renovated classroom. So we're very excited about that, hoping to ramp up workshops in 2023 and into the new year.
This is a painting intensive that we offer. At least we've been doing it once a year, maybe more. Who knows? But it's for experienced painters.
Yeah.
But we will also have painting classes, intensives for, beginners and intermediates and advanced to all work together. So that's something that we're going to be doing in the future again.
Yeah, of
as we
course.
always did.
Yeah, baby steps. We're really excited to integrate programming again on site, and we thank you for being interested in the journey. So after the broadcast wraps up, the enchantment continues. Explore at your own pace, make some connections, treat yourself to delicious food and beverages outside by the bonfire. Hopefully the rain has stopped. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on out there. We've been in this submarine for a good while. And so go on outside, though. I'm feeling good about it. Enjoy some fire performances. Share in the groove during a Heartbeat Collective-led drum circle. That's right. We got some drum circles back. That was a popular thing in the New York City days, and we're excited to have that tonight. John Shook, he will be live painting, so go visit him and just wander and enjoy. You two will be hanging out for a little bit, right?
We'll be here. We'll
Okay,
be here.
good. Thank God. And we're really excited to just hang out, and then at the end of the night, we will gather by the bonfire and howl at the moon if you're down to get down with some howling, activate the wolf energy. Fabulous. As always, bathrooms are available on all 3 floors, and we have porta-johns outside. And if you need anything or you have any questions, look out for some people with these guys on and some event staff stickers, and we would be happy to lead you in the right direction. That's all I have.
The bathrooms in Entheon, by the way, many of them are dedicated to non-living artists. And
there's
the
art
2
in
on
those
this
too.
floor that are decorated to non-living artists
Yep.
are both sacred geometry oriented. So don't miss it if you can.
Don't miss it, but don't get lost in there either. There's a lot that we got to show. So that's all I have. I'll let you two close it out with the final benediction. This is Alexis Batty signing off. Thanks, y'all.
Dedication to love. From the core of our hearts, we dedicate ourselves to the complete and full expression of love in all our activities and in all our relationships.
Love is the soul's medicine, a refuge in our hearts, protecting us from utter despair. Finding compassion in the eyes of the beloved and in the stranger gives us the courage to endure.
May love sensitize us with care and wisdom. May love help heal the sickness and wounds of life. May love enable us to forgive and accept ourselves.
May love enable us to forgive and accept each other. May love help us overcome our cruelty and bitterness, our greed and jealousy, our ignorance and delusion.
May love rule our hearts and minds, directing us to reach out, doing our best to benefit others, to heal suffering, to give gifts, to create beauty in the infinite network that is our world.
A heart of loving kindness pours creative grace into the world to alleviate pain and mend the heart net. To the healing art of love, we dedicate ourselves.
May any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings. Happy full moon.